for this fight for a long time and for Terence to actually step in the ring. I think he's been out for quite some time. And I liked how Spence, worked on Ugas. I think he was great at picking him out from the outside, but then when he got in, Ugas he didn't unload. He didn't do anything. I think that it's going to be a faster paced fight.
Lois Cole says stop.
Because of the fact that, if I'm talking about Crawford from, the last time we saw him or a couple years back, he wants to throw, but he also, because of the amount that he wants to throw, he does open himself up for a lot of punches as well. I want Bud just because of the fact that we're cool with him, we're good, but at the same time I'm really worried about where he is, where he stands. Like this kind of negotiation process and the things that are being said with the purses makes me question where the fighter is. More so because of the fact that, like, if you're just looking for a retirement check payday,
Who
then
said what, though?
are you really in the game, or is your
Richie
foot outside the
Sheffield
door
must be
already?
lying. Richie, you
I
need to
think
take a pay
that
cut. I'm
Spence
talking
is on
to
a
him.
roll, and I think that confidence could roll over into it. Do I like it that Spence has more of a mental advantage and is willing to fight Crawford, and Crawford is holding up the deal? No. And I think that does play into the mental aspect.
Rumors,
so
though.
I'm leaning towards
Bad
Spence
for boxing,
winning, but I
Spence said.
don't support it. How about that?
When the office opens, you be willing to and ready to be working with Bud and them on getting this contract?
Bud has his own team, as far as I know.
I know, but they could help with some advising people, though. You know what they calling people, consultants.
Doesn't he have Warren Buffett like as a neighbor?
Man, Big Daddy Warren.
Hey, you ain't like that answer, did you, D-Ray? You ain't like that one. I ain't mad at you.
Hey, no, man. I think, man, that she's for like all the fighters, right? And like, but the only one that like her husband, with me finding out today that he was going to be pursuing other championship fights, and just kind of brought a smile to my face, you know what I'm saying? And because they was also saying Wilder had just kind of said he was about to come back too. But go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
Hey, Ray, this is my great uncle. Well, this is my uncle, not my great uncle. But D-Ray Promotions from Omaha, uncle right you feel me? And so you always got to be careful, with D-Ray, because he a hometown guy. I ain't mad at him, not mad at him at all, respectfully.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I think it has to do with the fact that the minimum that he got from Top Rank, and he's walking into a new territory, and the fact that when you're coming in without a promoter,
debate with you one-on-one
you're
right
kind
now.
of almost
I'm gonna go against the
sometimes
tape
stabbing
since I know
in the
you.
dark.
You come on my show, Rachel.
But who is EJ's promoter now? Come on, Miss Rachel. They don't got no great promoter. Who's that?
Isn't EJ with PBC?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
PBC not a promoter though, right?
But we know that if you're with the PBC, you're working with Al Heyman and Tom Brown, and then it will give you the opportunity.
Say Floyd Mayweather, like I said before, first, man. What you talking about, PBC?
Hell of a promoter, Floyd. Let us make this damn fight.
You're working with Tom Brown, and then they also give you the opportunity to have your own promotional brand to co-promote with Tom Brown. So that's how.
Tom Brown said if the fighters want to fight, they can make the fight. So what we talking about, man? She already said something about the contracts. And now, see, that's the thing when we're talking about bad headlines and actual paperwork contracts, Miss Rachel. And I was just trying to have you help me show them the difference. You know what I mean? When people is reporting on speculation and promoters are bad talking fighters that they know that they're not going to be working for them no more, making them no more money from, and the actual paperwork of what goes into a fight. Because from here, right, today, everybody said, we want KI next, right? So from us as fans just saying that, right, to actually you being able to dot the I's and cross the T's on the paperwork, and then them actually to get to the first bell, you know, and then be able to, you know, have a celebration, you know, because all your hard work paid off. But
yeah, for a big money fight.
Just look at it this way. Your exact analogy, and let's put it onto Casimiro. Casimiro started fighting with Sean Gibbons about supposed contracts or what he did or did not get paid after the Rigondeaux fight. And from there, Sean Gibbons, MP Promotions, did not decide to give John Real Casimiro the fight against Nonito. Would not give him the contract. Casimiro asked us for the contract. And when he asked us for the contract on live YouTube, I kind of looked at Nonito and I was like, he has no idea how this game works. And Nonito's like, listen, bro. He goes, I don't have your contract. I have my contract. Your promoter has your contract. TGB gave Sean the contract. He's supposed to give it to you. And he said, we're not talking. He's mad at me, and he won't give me the contract. So when you say, if they know that you're going to leave, they're going to do everything in their power to piss you the hell off. Yeah, I believe it.
Y'all better subscribe.
Real quick, Rachel. And
Rachel's channel.
Just gonna put it out here.
Skywalker, Dub Right Side, G5.
Who's holding up the fight, man?
D-Ray and D-Ray Promotion.
Come on, man. What kind of
Look at West Right Side.
Who's holding the fight?
Put it this way. Whoever won't agree to the fight at this point, let's say it's at 10 million. Let's just put it at 10 million, 50-50, okay? Who are they going to fight that's going to make them that amount of money?
They're going to be making the next. No, they're going to be both of them are going to be making the most they've ever made in their career.
Now watch this.
What's the problem?
Man, hey, look, bro. All I say is this, though, right? Is Porter made more money in a career high payday against Crawford than he did against anybody. That's why he was able to retire. Go ahead.
What they got to do with what's going on today?
All we need, bro.
Right, we want to see the fight, and at this current, Rachel, you ain't got to say it. I'm going to say it. Respectfully.
No. Look, bro. First you wanted to blame Bob. Now you want to blame Bud, bro. I'm blaming you, the fan that's sitting up here and allowing Canelo to be able to turn down an $80 million deal and refuse to say, Al, take that $80 million and give it to Spence and Crawford. That's who's holding the fight up. Now go ahead, Miss Rachel.
Canelo's numbers are proven, bro. Because his numbers are proven, the network.
She said the advertisers, right? I understand that, but I'm saying if they so actually you're saying that they didn't really have the $80 million. They was just
right. They just trying to make a profit.
More than that.
The money that Canelo was offered has nothing to do with this fight. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that.
But now, so Canelo made $40 million on this last fight against Bivol, and still, Bivol didn't get his $2 million yet, right? Is that what happened?
He didn't get his $2 million because of the sanctioning with Russia.
Oh, he didn't get the money?
I don't know if he has now, but I know like a month after that fight, we were still talking about that Bivol hasn't been able to. Basically, I mean, like, okay, give him a paycheck. Give him the check. What is he going to do with it? He can't go to Russia and put it in.
Yeah, they got him signed up for another fight already, though, before he got to cash his first check.
And they knew that before the fight.
But at the same time, that ain't got nothing to do with Bud and Spence right now, bro. That ain't got nothing to do with it. And so we got to stop bringing that in and just say that the fighters, bro, hey, man, take what you going to take, you know what I'm saying, steal your biggest payday and make the fight happen, bro. Make the fight.
It was kind of like when we were talking about the Kambosos and the Haney fight, and Haney, you know, everyone was saying Haney took a pay cut, and Kambosos, like, what would you have done? Because he was pretty much putting Haney in the corner and saying, you're going to do this is where the rematch is going to be, this is it. And, you know, I think Bryce said you guys asked me what I would have done. I was like, I would have just froze him out. 10-0, what percentage
Bob had to
are you going to get from nothing? Because if Haney didn't sign that contract, it doesn't matter what you could have made. There was nobody else for you to fight in the division. So, you know, he would have had to wait out.
And you know,
wait, hold on. I just want to ask this one question now. So if you try to send a contract to KI for him to get in the morning, letting him know, we ready to go beat you up. Now, you know, I'm just saying, like, is there like a percentage, you know, that he's told you, okay, you're not going to take it below 49.9%, you know, but go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No, no, because it's going to have to, there's a lot of hands in the pot, right? When it comes to him, he's going to have to bring it to his promoters. Promoter's going to have to approve it. And because the promoter most of the time will get, if a fighter's making $1 million, if it's a co-promote and they're not the head promoter, then most of the promoters will take off the top 20 to 30%. And that's if it's a co-promote. Then you have the manager. So, and the manager is the one that's going to set up the deal. So if you look at those things, it's like, who isn't it enough for? It might be enough for Ayoka, but it might not be enough for the manager or the promoter to make the fight happen. It might not be worth it for them. And that's why, like, when it was talked about, what I don't like is when I believe Isaac Cruz versus Ryan Garcia, and Golden Boy said that they offered $1 million or whatever to Isaac Cruz, and Sean Gibbons said that it wasn't enough. I always wonder, like, who wasn't it enough for? Because if that was Isaac Cruz's career high, then you would think that he would have taken the fight. In addition to the fact that when you do offer, quote unquote, it rarely ever is in writing, so it's not like a home buy where you send in an offer and the buyer receives it and they sign that this is the offer and that they received it, and then they send back a counter offer. There's nothing like that in boxing. Most of the time it's a bunch of people on a phone call that play telephone and say, hey, they're offering this and hey, they're offering that. And it's the longest telephone game in history. Like, they go, hey, they're offering you this much. Okay, well, where's the fight? But then they got to go all the way back to channels and then ask where the fight is. Well, I don't like the fight there. I want the fight here. Okay, hold on. Let me see how much money they're willing to offer in this country. Go all the way back up to channels. It is literally a game of telephone. There's never an actual offer that's written.
Listen up.
And it's crazy to me. Because then you can't ever know if it's a real offer.
Right. They fake offering
every contract. It's interesting you say that because I believe it was Stephen Espinosa. He was like, we can't even send an offer if we can't agree on a number. We can't send no paperwork if we don't agree on a number. You know what I'm saying? So when people say, Bud, need to sign the contract, I'm like, I'm not sure a contract has been sent.
I've been saying that. Ain't no contract been sent. If we can't agree on
a number, we can't send a contract.
Y'all sitting up here asking me why you ain't signed shit that ain't been sent. I'm like, why y'all tripping like that, bro?
I've seen offers come in and I redlined the shit out of it.
Now, that's what we doing. Happy. We redlining shit out of it. Tell them, Rachel.
They could, but it's not the business norm.
So were they really happy, or were you just playing?
What? That I redlined the shit out of contracts?
Yeah, but that they were happy.
Who?
The people who you put the red lines in for.
Oh no, they're never happy. They are never. Yes, no, they're never happy because I redline everything. I will fight you on the purse. I will fight you on tickets. I will fight you on planes. I will fight you on hotels. I'll fight you on how many people are in the per diem pot. I will fight you on everything that I can.
That's the way you need working for you.
Ringside is not usually. It's usually always standard for us. Like, we've never had like a weird ringside, so that's not. It was never a matter of contention.
Judges and referees.
Hey, real quick, before you answer that, I just wanted to see how petty you are, Rachel. No disrespect. No disrespect. Petty is being good.
Yeah.
Who, ours?
Say it again.
What? What did you say?
No, go ahead. D-Ray, ask the question again, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, when you were saying as far as negotiating everything, and I just said, has it got to the point ever of like trying to get two judges for you or the referee that you like more so than the other person? But go ahead.
There's been fights that we've agreed to like a neutral ref. Right, not one way or the other. Hasn't been really a matter of contention though. It's not like, oh well, well then I get this, or it's never been like a push point where it would cancel a fight.
When you say a neutral ref, what do you look for in them?
For example, like, okay, so let's talk about Jelena, right? Jelena had a title defense not this past May, but the May before, where she was the world champion, and she lost that fight. She has a rematch, and I believe it's supposed to be in August, because they stopped it on a cut, but the referee overrode the doctor ringside who said she can continue because it wasn't bleeding. Anyway, long story short, the referee was from Mexico. Her opponent was Mexican. So what I mean by neutral ref
cheated, bro. That's corruption.
Not for Jelena, at least.
You gotta go to the promoters in the suits and fine them and penalize them for that.
Pick a damn different country.
That's right.
Any other country besides those two. Just not one from either of the fighters' countries.
Okay.
But at least make it appear that, there is no biasness. Because, like I said, like it came into a huge question when the referee overrode the doctor.
See, I didn't even never heard of this, but I'm going to be using it on them. So I don't know about that. I'm going to go listen to this video. Subscribe to Skywalker.
I just wanted to ask her, was she in favor of that, or thinking that the doctor should have been able to, have the final say over the referee? Go ahead, though.
I think that if it's a medical decision about a cut, it has to be about the doctor, because what does the referee really know about medical implications?
We stayed at a whatever hotel want to support and subscribe this.
There's a cut, you refer them to the ringside doctor to the ringside doctor and the commission to take a look at it.
But if the doctor say yay,
what the hell the doctor know?
So now you're going. So are you better than a ringside doctor? So why do we have ringside doctors if you're going to have them take a look and they say that she's fine to fight and override that decision to begin with?
Thank you.
Why do we bother having medical ringside doctors if you're not going to take their professional opinion? Because we all know that you're not a doctor and you don't have your PhD. So why are you making medical claims based on that?
Absolutely. Hey, right side, if I can just sneak this real quick one in. I just want to ask her about this real quick, though. Now, when they have different sanctioning bodies and states and athletic associations and stuff, and they have different medical, like, tests that you have to pass, whether it's here, there, or everywhere, do you have any opinions on that?
Texas and Nevada is separate and
I
different.
think it should be standardized.
Standard across the board everywhere,
I know
exactly.
that WBC is very careful with people over the age of 35, I believe, has to have more tests done more frequently, where the other, when they're younger, they have to, like a test, like an MRI or something that would last for 2, 3, or sometimes 5, depending on the state as well.
Yeah, but every fight they
I
need a
honestly
test.
think like there shouldn't be an issue of doing all these things, for example, an MRI every year. Because of the fact that if we're talking about a boxer's safety, who is not to say that someone is more prone due to their medical history and family history
because that might end up getting boxing outlawed.
brain bleeds, or etc. Just because you're young, you're saying that they can't. It is highly possible that our younger generation has these medical issues and they're overlooked because of the fact that of the frequency of the test. So if we're talking about the health of a boxer, it should be standardized across the board. How often they test, what tests are required, and
it is live on Skywalker's channel.
Like Skywalker Boxing. Pretty much, that's it.
TWT.
Yeah, my uncle Bobby Chacon, he had bad boxing dementia, and it drove him to become crazy. Like, he had family that loved him, but he ended up homeless in Skid Row in LA, and used to be, he's a Hall of Famer, but Yeah, the boxer dimension's no joke, man. I'm glad that they brought it down from 15 rounds to 12, you know. Start prospects out at 6, you know what I mean? Shit like that.
But even at a prospect at 6, an 18-year-old that is just growing into their body and not being fully developed in their attributes.
Listen up. Showtime, World
and they
Combat.
get into a bad fight.
Let's advise this young man, keep him on a good road.
Fight, that one punch that landed absolutely correctly, isn't something in there that at the age of 18 he got that, and then it progressed through the years because of the fact that we weren't demanding that there should be an even testing every year to make sure that the boxer's health is the first and foremost priority.
Right.
Great.
Jim drop.
It has to be serious with South African.
Even making a noise in the background.
They try to make a highlight reel of this guy punching at the air. I remember Tim Bradley, he made the mistake of, you know, talking about that, you know, because at first they made it like, you know, it was the highlight of the fight. But then the boxer died, you know what I mean? He went into a coma, had a brain bleed and died. I forgot his name. He's from South Africa. You remember that fight?
Walker.
Yes, I remember that fight, and I also remember Z. Gores is a Filipino boxer that was fighting the night before a Manny Pacquiao fight. He actually won, but he went back to his corner and he collapsed. He had a brain bleed, and he was in UNLV? Not UNLV.
Man, the other, she's dropping gems out here on this segment.
And he's never came back since. Now, if you consider his age, was he at the age where, you know, we quote unquote talk about, you know, oh, well, they're at an older age, we need to do more testing more frequently because of their age? No, he wasn't. And if, let's just say that it was a less obvious after effect on him, and there was a small brain bleed, but he was still talking and all that stuff, and knowing that he just won, they put him into a fight 3 months later.
Subscribe to D-Ray Promotions, D-Ray.
Because that was, I believe, a December fight, so he would have had to do it based on the calendar year. They would have caught that. But because of his age, you're telling me that you wouldn't have caught it because you just didn't want to implement more testing for the health of a boxer?
They didn't want to be held responsible. That was a great breakdown by you, though. See, you, man.
Beyond the ring.
They better watch out for you. Go ahead.
Hey, Rachel.
Great answers, man. I'm on mute.
Rachel, question for you. Well, I believe me and you, we came at an impasse in this situation, and I argued you down about it. But we talked about the Kambosos Haney fight, right? And you told me, I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, I believe you told me that Kambosos was going to win that fight.
I said that if Haney was going to go into a firefight with Kambosos, he would definitely lose. And if he didn't, if he stuck to his game plan and outboxed him throughout most of the rounds,
I think T.O. would have been a tougher fight
and very cleanly,
Kambosos. I'm going to ask
Haney would win.
That,
but all the cards were stacked up against him, and even if he did win, that Kambosos' little clause about the rematch being in Australia and blah, 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 was going to work to, you know, Kambosos' advantage, because then now they've been in the ring together. Not saying that a rematch always changes the outcome, but he knows that Kambosos is not willing to trade. That Kambosos is like the whole point is to trade.
And I told you that Devin Haney was gonna win. Devin is the goods, right? Two questions for you. First question that I want is, Devin, he's gonna go back and watch Kambosos in my opinion. I think he'll watch them. My questions are, who do you think wins these two fights? Devin Haney versus Lomachenko and Devin Haney versus Tank Davis.
White Jesus versus Black Jesus and no Jesus.
Lomachenko, I feel like, has started to not, like, he's been
Are they going to blame the war
lately,
for Loma?
And in addition to the fact that he's been out of the ring, he's a very talented and technical boxer. I love how he fights. But at the same time, I think Haney has been learning exactly how Lomachenko fights. We're talking about Lomachenko now, right? Like, with him being off, with him, like, carrying around a gun in Ukraine and everything?
You don't have to answer, but no, we just talking about if Lomachenko in in October, going back, I want him to get a tune-up first, in my opinion, so that there's no excuses, because if he don't get a tune-up, they'll tell me that, well, he was coming off this, whatever. But, so I want him to get a tune-up, so I think the Kambosos fight happen first. But after that, I look forward to the Lomachenko fight, and then break down the Tank fight. So Lomachenko Tank, Lomachenko with a tune-up at the top of his ability, you know what I'm saying, with him being, 33, 34 right now, my age. I think we were born in the same year, so
trying to
go ahead,
distract and save
well, I just think that,
you know,
with Haney having that kind of rangy jab, sticking and moving in and out all the time, I think that that's going to present a huge problem for Lomachenko. I love Lomachenko. I mean, you know, we were both in Top Rank at this time that he broke into the professional leagues and stuff. So, I mean, it sucks to say, but I think that Haney can actually take him apart from the distance.
Great answer.
Facts, all facts, and Dev is gonna take him apart.
Why you
Dev versus
trying to get Dev a commercial right there? Right?
I have an issue with Tank Davis. You know I have an issue with Tank. You know I have an issue with Tank, and this is just like my personal thing, right? Like I didn't like that whole thing with Rolly. Like I thought it was a cheap shot. I thought it was like I thought
that push.
It was. I'm not talking about the fight itself. I'm talking about, you know, the whole pre-fight crap and all the drama and all the crap. You know, the pushing off stage. The pushing off stage BS. If you're going to push a man...
I tried to tell them about that from day one. I said, man, that set a bad precedence for the fight. You know what I'm saying? And then they said they had all kind of fights in the crowd, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as the fighter himself, I can't say anything about the fights in the crowd and who started the...
No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, like you said, I just thought, though, that we agreed that him pushing them off the stage not only... endangered the fight, but it incited a crowd that was particularly ready to, you know,
to start stuff.
Fight. Rolly kept telling everybody to buy the pay-per-view, so he was selling it. But go ahead.
I think the fight was going to. It was already happening. You know, everyone's talked mess. Whatever, words are words. But I feel like it's a bitch move. When you push someone when they ain't looking.
That's right. That's all I tried to say.
And then you're gonna. And then it's.
Said it.
I'm sorry. Like, don't throw no rabbit punches.
Hold on, D-Ray. Let it go ahead, Ray.
I mean, like, it's not. And then we go into this whole thing. Boxers, when they cut, or when anyone cuts, like, you can even go into bodybuilders when they cut. It's dangerous for them. Their reaction times and their movements and their muscles are not the same as when they're fully hydrated and aware. Being that the stage wasn't level to a street level and it was a drop down of 3 to 4 feet, you can roll your ankle. You can have that sudden shock of a calf twist, a calf tightening up because you're dehydrated trying to make that weight. You were willing to do something as shady as that when the guy wasn't looking, not when he was fighting right in front of you, staring at you. You want to do it when he was in front of you and he didn't look, and then put your hands up like you didn't do anything. And then you're willing to risk him not being able to step in the ring, because that was going to be a risk. If he rolled his ankle, exactly. Who would have been pissed? And honestly, I'm at this point where this kind of like little circus that these people do to put their hands on each other before the fight. If I was a promoter, or honestly the state commission, if you touch your opponent, you're going to get fined X amount of dollars. Because there should be no damn reason you should be touching your opponent. You're going to touch each other a lot when you get in the ring. Wait till you get in the ring. And don't sacrifice the fight because, again, like you were saying, right side, we're going to lose sponsorships to people who bought the tickets and the TV networks because you just wanted to play stupid.
When did he say that? He didn't say that. I said that.
And in my opinion, Rachel, I think that you should be fined half of your purse if the
right side, we about to start fighting now.
Because of your antics, then
we've been fighting already.
Everything that you were guaranteed and everything.
And y'all tell me who did a better interview of Rachel?
Because I agree with
the bright side, yours truly.
And
then, some other guys.
Part of me also wants to be like, if you're going to push me, then stand up and say you pushed me. But that wasn't what Tank did.
Back in the cut.
Tank was like, oh, I didn't touch him. And like walked behind everyone protecting him.
Right. So nobody see Tank. He went invisible.
And I get that he did that.
Tank Davis or Devin Haney? Who you got?
Haney.
Facts.
Haney's like, if you see how many times that Rolly did touch Tank on the outside, he got that punch. It was perfectly timed and it was amazing. But at the same time, Haney's going to touch him more. If he thinks he's going to be on the outside the entire time without Haney touching him and trying to time, for Haney to lunge in and lean forward, Haney doesn't do that.
Lunge and lean. Like Earl Spence.
Much better than Rolly Romero's, and Rolly was 10 rounds. I agree with you, Rachel. I agree 100%. Go ahead, guys. My apologies.
Hey, I just want to know which one of them is going to be at Ryan Garcia's fight, begging for a fight. Go ahead, Miss Rachel.
Oh, I don't know. I think Ryan Garcia is one of those interesting characters in the game. Again, he's kind of like yes, he was a boxer. But at the same time, he had a trajectory of being a model and all this stuff. His fan base is also one of those ones like Jake Paul. Not as extreme as Jake Paul, because Ryan does have blazing hand speed. But his fan base is mostly from young teenage little girls that think he's so cute. They don't care about that.
Did you see him working out lately? Because they said he transformed or something. What'd you think about that, being like a coach and a fitness instructor and stuff? Go ahead.
He transformed into what?
I don't know. Well, they were saying that, that he just looks different now. Go ahead, the right side.
They say that he's like a middleweight. They say that he's put on a lot of muscle. I know in the fight against Tagu, I believe it was supposed to be at 35, but it ended up being at maybe 138. And so,
is that this fight?
You trying to do Canelo weight?
No, I'm just telling you what happened. So my and that goes right into my question.
Junior?
We have been going more. What seems like more muscle. You know what I'm saying? You think he's too big for the 135 division? Do you think he makes the weight? And
38 fights really too big for 35.
You see him at 140.
I haven't seen the pictures that you guys are talking about or any of the videos. But I mean, if he's talking about bulk weight and not like a tone, fast twitch muscle, that could be a detriment to his speed. His speed is fast. But when you start to work on more of the slow twitch muscles to gain a muscle mass, it slows down your ability to fire off the fast twitch muscles, in addition to muscle fatigue over 12 rounds.
I bet you she know that now.
I mean, he'll be strong and fast for the first 4, and then I would expect him to start to slow down after that, if that was his whole goal in bulking up.
Just want to know.
I don't necessarily agree with boxers bulking. I think the more I've seen boxers bulking and doing a lot of heavyweights, which I don't know why they're doing. Maybe it's because their strength and conditioning coaches are more football players and bodybuilders than anything, and have never fought in their life. But working on those slow twitch muscles aren't going to help in the long run of the
and that's where, like, when Deontay Wilder worked on the bench press, I thought he should have been working on the squat and deadlift.
Okay, that's fine.
That's why y'all seen Bud be deadlifting.
You know who you sound like you're talking about, Rach? Anthony Joshua.
We're gonna stop right there for a minute. Get ready for our last segment.
Yeah, I remember that.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, I think. I think we put so much emphasis on how the boxer's physique is, and it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because I mean, we're not doing a bodybuilding show, right? And these boxers cut weight. These boxers don't walk around with six packs most of the time. Of course, when the one thing that bodybuilders do before they step on that stage is they dehydrate themselves to accentuate the muscles that they had built. But in the long run, it's the boxing ability that makes it key. I mean, you look at Tyson Fury, you look at Andy Ruiz. Do they look like boxers to you?
And they said Andy shaped up too now.
Hey, Ruiz transformed, Rachel.
Hey, y'all surprised.
That's a great answer. I know your husband is so proud of you saying that you didn't watch that Ryan Garcia video, but go ahead.
Nobody got my joke.
No, go ahead, Rachel. My bad.
No, I didn't say anything. Go ahead.
All right, we're going to end it right there. We're ready for the next one.